Live. Going outside. All right. I just did a little short. This is Bronson. Here. I just did a little short, basically, that I was going to go live on having an original style. And I showed my backyard a little bit. I don't know if that video is going to show up because I was having some technical issues there. But anyway, this is Bronson. After Charles Bronson. All right, so it's a really nice day. It's a little overcast, and I'm just smoking some weed and having coffee in the backyard. And if you never drank a little bit of coffee and smoked a little weed in your backyard, then you don't know what you're missing. And no, I'm not a druggie. We fought for marijuana to be legal fair and square, and I have my medical card, and it's not for psychological issues, although it does help when you live in a country full of stupid SJW warriors and like conservatives that are people who call themselves conservatives, but they're like leftist light, basically. Anyway, because they're not for fathers, they're a bunch of simps for women in this country. And anyway, so my point being is having an original style. Having an original style, and how you have an original style, or have people not care that your style might look like have influence from other styles. And here's the big secret. Of course, if you've seen other videos from me, of course my dog is named Bronson after Charles Bronson from Death Wish. I call him Death Wish Bronson, actually. He's a great dog. He's probably going to be in my comic book. He's probably going to be Nutjob's dog, my character Nutjob. So here's the big secret. What you want to do to have an original style is to do original characters. That's it. That's the big secret. If you want to develop an original style, then do your own characters. Then maybe go back to Batman and Superman and all that shit later, right? The problem you're having is, like, if you're drawing Batman or you're drawing Daredevil, you've already got all these preconceived notions, and it's going to come out. Like, it's going to come out, right? And people are going to be like, oh, because that's your idea of Daredevil. That's your idea, like your favorite artists that do that character. And that might always come out. No matter, you might, I mean, you know, but you can definitely beat it down a little bit if you do your own characters. I think my pipe's clogged. Right, Bronson? He agrees. So why is this? I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but part of it is because, and I don't care if you do Doo-Doo Man. You know what I mean? Just make your own characters. Like, oh, this is Doo-Doo Man. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, just, I mean, I'm coming up with a couple new characters. One of them I think is going to be called Flexoid or something like that. Or like, I don't know if the Bouncer's taken. I got to look up the Bouncer. Probably fucking Marvel or DC or somebody has it. But he's not a bouncer. Well, he could be a bar bouncer, actually. He could be his like identity, but I need some weirdo villains for Nut Job, and one of them that kind of Nut Job on YouTube, which is like my comic books version of YouTube. There we go. I think I unplugged it. Yeah, this guy sees my character Nut Job just beating the shit out of people on YouTube, like because everybody's got phones, so inevitably he gets caught on camera doing his thing, right? My character Nut Job, and so this guy who's like, oh yeah, but he's not really a good guy. He's a piece of shit. He makes a suit. So Nut Job kind of creates a bad guy or inspires a bad guy. And he's like this bouncy guy with like, I don't know, tasers or weird, like one hand that can grab just about anything. Like it's got a claws, it's got a vacuum, it's got magnets, all this stuff. You know what I mean? And like he's like bubbly, roundish, bally looking with ball joints and all this stuff. And he just like bounce. And like, you know, every time my character tries to fight him, he just ends up like bouncing off of him and smashing into shit. And then the guy will like electrocute him or some crazy, you know, or tear gas him or something. You know, he basically, you know, he doesn't like really beat my character up that so much as like it stalemates the first couple times and he gets away. And and then I got another idea for a dude named Bullet Face, I think, unless that's taken. You really got to look all this stuff up. But yeah, it's just a guy with a hoodie and like body armor and a big fucking knife, you know what I mean? And he's got an armored face for people that have guns and shit. And he's a thug. He's just a regular thug, but he's a real pain in the ass. You know, he's like really devious. And, you know, he'll like take children hostage and stab women and shit like that. So I got an idea for a guy like that too. Bullet Face, I think, or something face. I'll think of something. But my point being is, if you do original characters, you're gonna be forced to kind of, you know, you're going to force yourself to sort of like have to translate these new ideas onto paper, and in the process of that, you're gonna have to solve these problems that there's no reference for. So start out with some concept art and do your own characters. It is really nice. I've been following Ethan, and I still have respect for that guy. I criticize him hard. Sorry, Ethan. Like, I'm really hard on you because I feel like people have to keep the feet to your fire because you're in the hot seat. Like you're in the pilot. You are kind of in the pilot seat right now. What I do respect is that you are using your platform to speak out against. You know what I mean? One of my big problems with the industry is people like, and Jim Lee, I love you too, but you guys keep on a smiley, like, oh, let's have this positive attitude, and that makes me feel like people who won't tell the truth or get up there and stand up against this tide of like everybody's got to accept being gay. And I'll get into that in a minute, why I don't accept that. And or lesbians, all this stuff, you know what I mean? People, like, if you, like, with great power comes great responsibility, right? We always say that. It's from Spider-Man, right? We're all comic fans here, and we always talk about, you hear that a lot. And that holds true. The reason that holds true is because it's based in reality. In reality, with great power comes great responsibility. Jim Lee, and you're supposed to. And people got I believe the creator puts people like you in places of where you have a platform so that you're supposed to use it for what's right. And what's right ain't going around telling everybody. There's way bigger problems in the world than going around, what they call virtue signaling everybody to be fucking, happy about gay, homosexuality. Who cares about any of that stuff? But I mean, uh, the point is this is why all this stuff, and this is why I respect Ethan, because he's standing up to it. But I don't feel like he's standing up to it. Nobody's perfect, and I'm not in his position, so I can't really say. But my point being is that like now that he has Cyberfrog going, then he'll be able to say whatever he wants to say. People talk about, and I know I'm talking about all the books, but this all, I mean, people, this kind of goes along with having an original style. I'm gonna stretch it here, but people got to break away. I love Batman and Spider-Man and all this stuff, and it's fantastic. But I know a lot of people, all you artists that want to be comic book artists, you got to break away from all that, man. You got to do your own stuff, man, because that industry's been taken over and it's being used as propaganda against our children, basically. And the reason, and we won't have children to buy comic books if we're all gay, you see. And I'm not going along with robots and machines and all that stuff. I mean, when it comes to that point, I'll just say it right here on air. When it comes to that point, where like the government's, if there's Terminator technology and robots in our government and whatever, at that point, as far as I'm concerned, we need to annihilate every member of government and their entire family. At that point, if I'll go to war. I mean, and I'll die, but whatever. I'm just saying, like, to protect humanity, basically, and the family. And the reason the family, if you're not having families, family isn't all about self-fulfilling. Like, women want to make it out, especially, but men too. But especially women, like, having a family is this fulfilling thing for yourself. And that you're supposed to be, fuck all that bullshit, being happy. Having a family is a duty to your country, right? Unless you don't like your own country and you don't want to enjoy comic books till the day you die or in your country. You know what I'm saying? Then and that's why we need to shame homosexuality, which is like, a really devastating lifestyle. I've known a lot of homosexuals, and that's why I'm just done with it. And I used to be all like, oh yeah, I don't care if people are gay. Yeah, I do care now. Okay, because I've met a lot of styles are fucked up. I mean, they cheat. I mean, and you're gonna be like, oh, not all gay people are like that. I don't care. It's a horrible lifestyle for men. And women, lesbians have like the most violent relationships, period. I mean, two women together and forget about it. But it's all not shown like that. The realities of it and all the drugs and everything, that's not shown to children. They're not going to show that to children. All the drug overdosing. I had a homosexual friend, ex-friend, more of an acquaintance now. I don't even go over his house anymore because of bullshit. But yeah, he just overdosed on film. They were doing a documentary on his life, this kid that I know, last week, and he overdosed on film. And they got the whole thing, resuscitating him, bringing him back to life. The police coming, the police are on the video, and it's all real. And this is and this is that typical gay guy that I know. I mean, they're all doing dope, and I mean, they don't. So why don't you talk about that, Marvel and DC? So we got to break away from all that. That my comic book shows all of this. By the way, my comic book is just you have no idea how crazy Nutjob is. It's beyond anything. It's like the new Batman or whatever. You know what I mean? Or the new Superman of this day and age, and all the drugs and bullshit and sexual offenders living on Section 8. My character just gets sick of it. just starts beating the shit out of sex offenders and drug dealers. And the cool thing about my character is he doesn't really wear any armor or anything. That's why my comic book is almost very manga. A lot of my comic book is my guy walking around just in regular clothes, hiding out in the woods, wearing hoodies, just trying to, get by, riding mountain bikes and shit, staying, camped out at the lake. You know what I mean? Uh, and like trying to stay away from humanity. And encountering sex offender, like level 3 sex offenders and drug addicts and stuff, and all this stuff everywhere he goes, and it just makes him sick. And criminal illegals, and basically like real America, because in America, like to reference the Walking Dead comic, in America, you know what I mean? If you have any kind of plans or dreams or goals and you want to enact them, you feel like fucking the sheriff in fucking Walking Dead in this country. That's why a lot of people are leaving this country. So my comic book really, and that's how I really developed my own style, was to just start doing my comic book. And it's shitty, and I've showed it to you. You can go look at my other videos. It came out kind of shitty, you know what I mean? But it's the best comic book I've done. Like, I'll show some of my old stuff, and it's almost embarrassing, but I'll show it to you. But I didn't have any formal training. Basically, my friend who's Jewish the other day told me that it's his sister's crowd. So I guess the Jews. Everyone's like, oh, it's not the Jews. They're oh, you hate the Jews, whatever. Well, the Jews are apparently that he's Jewish, and he's like that Ashkenazi or Russian Jew or whatever. He's a good friend of mine too, so don't think I'm even putting him down. But he doesn't even like his own sister, and so his sister is part of like the Berkshire Artisans or whatever the fuck their name is downtown. They're the ones I told you that all want you to excuse. I should make this more of a family-oriented show. I'm sorry that I'm cussing, but I'm really upset about the way that I've been screwed. Like, those people, I didn't know that till the other day. You know what I mean? My friend told me, "Oh yeah, Berkshire Artisans. That's my sister and her crowd downtown," and those people practically laughed at me. And you know what I mean? I'm used to rejection, because in my town I was I'm telling you, I wanted to be. I was like a young, bright, smart, talented kid, and I wanted to be a comic book artist. In this town, just, I mean, excuse my language, but shite all over me, laughed at me, didn't help me, treated me, and maybe a lot of people who are comic book fans understand this, and you're like, yeah, welcome to the crowd, but it doesn't mean I can't be upset about it. And the fact that and these are the people that want to paint cows and landscapes. It's incredible. I know I'm rambling, but this is why I have to thank those people. It's because I broke away from all that, and I got sick of Batman. And I mean, I'm not sick of Batman. I got sick of ever even thinking about working for DC and doing Batman, or I got sick of all that stuff, and I broke away from it completely. And I just started my own comic book. And the first one I did was Barry Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. And but it was cool. It did help me. I did learn from it. It's horrible. It came out for around here, a training, and I sold like every issue. That's the thing. Like, people see something new that's kind of cool. It doesn't even have to be perfect. I mean, remember how shitty I mean, come on, man. That art's shitty, but it's fucking awesome. You understand what I'm saying? So if you just turn out, you want to get an original style, you got to do your own idea. You got to do your own ideas. You got to do your own characters. This is how you do it. And then, like I said, even if somebody recognizes a little bit of someone else's style, like you can see Bernie Wrightson pop out of my. It's an Bernie Wrightson. You know, when I saw Bernie Wrightson when I was about, I don't know, God, when he did he animated heavy metal, and then he animated the little in between storyline on Creep Show. And then I found his comics. He did the comic book Master of those, and then he did Frankenstein. Frankenstein was like the God, man, when he did Frankenstein, and that I was just immersed in Bernie Wrightson, right? So you'll see him pop out of my style, but it's no one's gonna care because I'm doing my own storylines with my own characters, and people are always impressed by that, especially if it's cool. It is really beautiful out today. I'll show you guys my yard again. I'm not plugged in, so my battery life can't do this very long. Look at that. Look at that. Lilac tree. That not climb, have climbed all, like pretty much all the way to the top of that pine tree. It is a big tree. It would reach my house right there. My back signal. I walk back there. They're right there, and then right. Where those trees are. Tree line back there, so I fish there all the time. Misfits. Pretty tight. If you look in the back, what do you see? A camouflage poncho. Up in the Northeast, so it can get cold. So you see, I got flannels. I got a solar lantern. I have it in my vehicle for fish. Just in case I decide to go night fishing, I can bring that solar lantern with me and I can tie knots and stuff. Yeah. I drove along some. I think I got by the railroad people. I found giant tire spikes. I have them. They're galvan. They're fucking galvan spikes. They got me because this tire right here, I had to go get it fixed, and I do it one time and it was a nightmare. it last summer, and now I gotta sand it and bond it again. Shit. Original. Yeah. Anybody can do vigilante and call him like Dragon Claw or fucking singer, what anything. Just anybody can do your app, and people love that shit. You do that in your town, even in your town, in your hometown. Ass hometown where there's no fucking comic book store. I guarantee you, in your county, the town you live in, fucking like 2 hours to go get a fucking comic book, right? You know what I'm saying? You a fucking just stupid fucking armored character. With a bad guy like Fuzzface or something. I don't know. Fucking whatever. You turn that out, you make it look halfway pages. Just 8 pages. You can go to your friends. You can just print it on a photocopier, because I've done this. I've done this. This is what comic book about, and fucking and you can go to parades and all of it, and just make it look clever. Videos of these guys like Ethan Van Sciver and Jim Lee that are now basically doing pages live. And because people weren't about to do it, now other people are doing it. And that's cool. But at my time, the channel is very young, man. There's a million things I got to do. But anyway, before World War III, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Trump started Armageddon. Here's to you, Trump. But anyway, you will sell every single one of those fucking comic books. People will fucking love it. You show just a regular pow, pow, pow. There's another dude on, you know who Brian Proctor is? This is a little shout out to Brian Proctor. Proctor is. You need to type Brian Proctor in right now. He's a black dude. Some people with arrogant. I think the black Israelites, the original Hebrew Israelites, but that's a whole nother topic. Anyway, Proctor, right now into YouTube, his tutorial, his advice on talking something wrong. I'm telling you, I know. I can smell. If you go watch my men's channel, I can smell bullshit, and I literally. It's not all the bullshit coming off of Marvel and fucking sick satanic shit going on or something. Anyway, original period. and where are you going to draw storylines from? What's going on right in your sci-fi you get story? There's nothing more twisted than reality. Okay, there's nothing reality. So, like I said, look up Brian Proctor. Brian Proctor will help you. And I probably will take it eventually. I got to get. I'm off track right now with my comic book. You know what I mean? I'm doing. I'll get back on track. Trust me. It's just right now. I did a lot of work, and I'm sort of taking a bit of a break. I work full time, and I have a dog, and I grow pot, and I do all this other stuff. So, and I'm working on T-shirt designs. I told you, for a T-shirt company I just kind of started. But anyway, my point being is Brian Proctor will help you. He offered to help me. What Brian Proctor does is he has other talented artists and letterers and inkers, and that's being ignored. He will offer to, or maybe your art sucks, but your story's good, or whatever. He'll hook you up with like other pencilers, other inkers, other letterers. So Brian Proctor is one of the mans to be. See, those are the type of leaders that we need in the comic book industry. I don't know if Ethan Van Sciver knows who Brian Proctor is. Brian Proctor, and he does some really good anatomy. He really, like Jim Lee, just kind of like, but Brian Proctor, his anatomy, where he's like this, the bicep comes into a V right here. To these, I mean, he like really, he really shows you where the muscles connect, wrap around each other, and everything. So Brian Proctor is a really good guy to connect with if you want to do independent comic books. If you want to do your own comic book, and then later on down when you can draw your own characters, right? Own characters. And do your own thing. Then drawing Batman or whatever. Now Batman's going to come into your universe. You know what I mean? Then when you're just going to naturally, like Bernie was talking about how he brought when he used to have that. I used to have the Batman, and my mother threw all that stuff out. Moms love to throw out comic books. So anyway, I was the mother that threw out all shit when they left after they left home. But anyway, yeah, Bernie writes, and when he brought Batman into his universe, that Batman had to kind of into his world where Batman had to follow his rules, and he had this big, enormous cape and giant pointy ears, the Batmobile. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. Like so if you really want to, how do I have my own style? How do I have my own style? This is like question that all these artists are their own style. You got to do your own characters, and you can't draw poster art of your own characters. I mean, some people will. No, you got to do like 8 pages of your own characters, staple it together on a photocopier. and charge people like $1. Maybe give it a cardstock cover. You know what I mean? And just have stay covers, and then you do the inside. So you're at work or whatever the fuck you do. I don't know. Telling comic like zine making like this. He does not want to have it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so enough. Like my dog's name is Bronson. You know, I always admired Charles Bronson in the movie Death Wish, which is a really crazy movie. Probably not. I mean, I watched it as a kid, sort of maybe. It was on HBO, and so I saw it. My parents used to pretty much let me watch rated R material, and which might explain a lot. So anyway, yeah, but basically, yeah, people can't get enough of Charles Bronson type characters that just beat the hell out of bad guys. And in your universe, all the bad guys don't have to be white American males. You see what I'm saying? Your own, and in your comic book, all the bad guys all the bad guys don't have to be white people that don't want illegal aliens to come here. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why we need more of this anyway. So if you want your part of having an original style right now comes with doing the right thing and being original and doing your own characters. And I think I've said enough because I'm not going to wax on about this all day. I got other things to do, and yeah. I have ideas stewing in my head for my comic book, but right now I got to get back to finishing like the first 5 pages or so. Then I think I'm going to send it to Ethan Van Sciver, who's been doing Cyberfrog live lately. You should really tune in because now he's doing what everybody wants to see. He's doing a character that there's not 100 years of reference for. The only other reference for Cyberfrog out there is really his work. You know what I'm saying? Now we're going to see Cyberfrog done the way Cyberfrog should have really been done. He kind of got sidetracked, but it did good because God put him, the Heavenly Father put him in the right place. You know what I mean? So he kind of breached the enemy's gates, and now he's breaking away doing Cyberfrog, and see. This is how you get your own style. You got to do your own thing, and then you got to send it to Ethan Van Sciver. Anyway, that's enough. I've said enough. I'm so glad to watch Zach from that. Like, I'm watching another thing too is, and I should probably do a show about it, is how Zach from Diversity in Comics is proving that the industry he's proving that the industry is absolutely corrupt because the leaders are stonewalling him and trying to scare. I wasn't paranoid. I knew there was evil shit going on. There's evil. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and these are sick, twisted people. Like, you know how you're always looking at their art going, it seems to me there's something wrong with this artist. Yeah, there is something wrong. They're a bunch just sacrifice. So, with child children, I mean, you don't know what they're doing in these companies. I mean, I have no idea what these, I'm talking about the in-house artists and in these big cities. You don't know what's going on there. So we're gonna and Zach from Diversity in Comics is drawing the enemy out right now. Warfare, like I do this in real life. I do this in real life with people. I will draw an asshole out, and then when he presents a moment where I have the opportunity to legally use force, I will punch the fuck out of that son of a bitch. You know what I mean? I've already done it. I will. You know what I'm saying? So my point is stuff, but I am. My point is What's up, buddy? My point is Zach is drawing out the enemy right now, and because they're trying to scare the distributors and the publishers into not publishing him, but Zach. It's on Zach's thing that he's raised enough money he can become a publisher. He can buy a room with a 30-foot long printer. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he's got like $250,000. Like, he might be able to buy all the printers and everything necessary to just publish himself. See, I'm gonna go comment on his thing right now. Right now. Where is it? Share. Diversity in comics. He's rating my subscriptions. So where are you, buddy? Where are you? I know I'm subscribed right here. Diversity in comics. I'll just go to his last. I was just watching his last broadcast. I'm gonna just say right now. You are drawing out the enemy. They are actually, you're proving people like me are not insane. They're literally trying to stop the publishers and distributors from publishing, carrying title. And you might have raised enough money to get some enormous industrial printer and a bunch of paper and so I said you might be able to just get some enormous industrial printer and a bunch of paper and become a publisher and publish your own work is what I wrote. Anyway, so he might be able to just be his own publisher. Yeah, and then just if he goes to conventions with a Marvel artist, I'm going to say that if you show up at conventions, and his followers will probably go in all the different states, not only, wait, let me see, with what's he got, a Marvel artist, with the, with a published former Marvel artist, which I think is what he's got, and a finished professional product. Not only will new people buy your stuff, probably your YouTube followers will show up and buy it. Just some food for thought. This is warfare, people, and I understand warfare. I'm not going to capitalize YouTube, so there's that. And I'm going to give them a thumbs up. I've been busy, and I haven't really been liking people's videos the way I should and watching people's videos the way I should. But you know, $280,000. I mean, you know, he might be able to just get his own printing equipment and print it himself. Anyway, there's that. And I'm going to go now. So everyone have a good Monday. Or I'm sorry, Wednesday. Everyone have a good Wednesday.